All right, shalom, shalom. I want to first start off by giving all the glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace and salutation unto the Lord's elect. This is Brother Yahwasap. Today we're going to be doing a quick little lesson today about being in the spirit and basically not conforming to the ways of this world, man. Because lately, and I think I could speak for a lot of other brothers in the Akim out there, there's been a lot of vexation. There's been a lot of Asian provocateurs, and it's even in our closest family. And we gotta talk about it more because, don't be surprised if these spirits, try to get you riled up in the flesh so they could try to ruin your relationship with the Heavenly Father, Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushai. In this time, we have to see that for what it is, What does it talk about in Ephesians? It talks about wrestle not against flesh and blood. This Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness in this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So, Hasatan knows that he could use these vessels, your family, your friends, your co-workers, to try to bring you off the track, man. To try to get you in the flesh, to try to make you act out carnally and get you in trouble. This is what Esau wants. So we got to see that for what it is, man. We ain't just battling with, the flesh, man. They're just a mortal, meat suit. There's spirits inside these people. And it could even be in our closest friends, man, our closest family members. We have to see that right now more than ever. What does it say? If he love mother, actually enemies in household. Let's bring this one out. And this is just through the spirit. We're pulling out precepts as we go. But this is the book of Matthew 10:36. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. So you can't put these people ahead of the Lord, Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushai, man. Because at the end of the day, he created these people to begin with. They don't have rule over you. They don't make the final decisions. It's the Lord. So if you have a family member that says, listen to me, listen to everything I say, no. You don't have to listen to everything they say. You can respect your family members, but there's a fine line and there's a boundary. And we have to be able to put that fine line, no matter who it is, if it means that it's going to keep us in peace with the Lord, man. Okay? Because this is what they try to do, man. These family members, they try to vex you. They try to find ways to emotionally, put you down, put seeds of doubt. And that's the devil, man. That's the way he operates. Okay? So continues to say, and he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. So you have to pick up your cross every day, and that comes with, being in this mortal flesh, being, hurt and having ailments and being in pain. But not only that, dealing with the bullshit that comes with Babylon, man. Dealing with the everyday bullshit that comes with this place, man. It's inevitable. And, if we're picking up our cross, this is what's going to happen, because this happened to Yahushai himself. This happened to Yahushai himself. And it says, we're not supposed to be of this world at the end of the day. And this is why we're being hated. This is why we're being vexed right now. Book of John 15:18, of the world hate you. Ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of this world, the world would love his own. But because ye are not of this world, but because I have chosen you out of this world, therefore the world hateth you. So the way you talk, the way you move your spirit, these people, man, the closest that you once thought were the closest of the closest, man, are going to turn on you. And this is it. You got to make this draw that fine line and make that decision. Are these family members more important than the Lord? Or am I going to go back with them in the world, man? Okay. What does it say? A dog that returns to his vomit. You going and listening to them and going back to their ways and their customs and their heathenistic activities and holidays and, things that they want to promote, man, these abominable foods, so on and so forth. If you stay around that, you're participating in wickedness. You're fellowshipping with people that are unequally yoked. And you're ultimately going back to your vomit. It says in the book of Proverbs 26:11, as a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. So when you let these family members, man, vex you in the flesh and start making decisions for you that are, you know, really, really, over the top. And there's a difference between your family member helping you or to the point where they're really trying to push you off the edge, man, and use that discernment righteously to understand what I'm saying. But if you willingly choose to participate in their bullshit, in their holidays, in their celebrations that basically invite these demons and spirits to come in, man, you're going back to your folly. And you can't be like that anymore, because if you came to this understanding and to this truth, man, you were called. Okay, but you have to strive to be of the chosen, of the elect. What does it say? Many are called, few are chosen. And this is the thing. This is what it's about, man. Family members, they'll try to push you back, man. You might have came into this, you might have came into the knowledge and understanding of the names, and then all that pressure from your family member just pushed you off, man. You weren't seeking diligently anymore. You can never let these people make decisions for you, man. They don't know what they're talking about, especially if they're a woman. Our people, man, are fucked up right now, especially the Eve woman. Because I myself, man, I have a mother, and a mother that's a scoffer and mocker, and she had that heavy Catholic spirit demon on them. And I know a lot of other, specifically Northern Kingdom, but other tribes as well, go through the same thing, man. You got family members that have these idols, man. They worship Queen of Mary worship. They worship the false, image of Hamashiach, Cesar Borgia, the white man Jesus with the long hair. And they got these demons, man, and they be trying to put these demons on you, man, but you got to resist. It says in the book of Matthew 22:14, for many are called, but few are chosen. So you got to be chosen, man. A chosen person pushes no matter what. No matter what obstacles come their way, no matter what scoffers come their way, because this is just the signs of prophecy, man. This just shows how real this book is, man. When your family members are turning on you, when they're trying to put all these other spirits on you, man, and when you see these spirits are trying to hop on you, but you see it for what it is, man, because you're in the spirit. You're in the spirit of Yahushai HaMashiach, man, and we have to strive to be like that. There's some days where we're not always on point. What does it say in the book of Baruch 4:28? Let's bring this out right now, because this is very important, because we're not always going to be on point in the spirit. It's inevitable. I mean, we're in this flesh, man. We're wrestling against this flesh all the time. But this is the book of Baruch 4:28. For as it was your mind to go astray from Yahweh, so being returned, seek him 10 times more. So, we might get vexed one day. We might get a little bit in the flesh. We can't help it. But come back 10 times more in the spirit. Strive to be in that full vibration, man, of the Lord, that fine tune, that sweet melody. That goes with being in the spirit, man. Striving to put off your flesh, put your flesh into subjection. Okay, squash those carnal lusts, man, that keep you distracted. Get rid of that phone, man. Go attack it at the root before it gets to the fruit. And go harder, man. There's nothing saying that you can't go harder in the spirit, because when you're in this state of being, 10 times more, you're seeking him 10 times more, your cup is more than overflowed, man. So you're able to see attacks ahead of time, man. You're wise, you're cunning, you're like a serpent. Okay, and if we're chosen, this is how we have to behave, man. We got to use the weapons that the Lord's been giving us, man, more than ever before. We got to use those weapons more than ever before. Okay, what does it talk about? Put on the armor. Actually, before this, soldier, KJV Online. Let's see what this brings out. Bible verse about soldiers. Okay. We'll go back to that chapter in Ephesians afterwards, but 2 Timothy verse 3. 2 Timothy 2 verse 3, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushai HaMashiach. So If you're a chosen soldier of the Lord, man, you're going out there doing his work, you gotta endure hardness. This is how it's gonna be when we're in this flesh, man. And you're gonna start to see, man, these family members, these people around you, they're gonna start pushing more than ever before. And that's why it's very important to just honestly not even deal with them. Deal with them on a very carnal level. Know how to say things to deter certain arguments from getting bigger and bigger. Very important to be using your words. Speak slow. Speak slow. Don't overspeak. Don't overshare. If you've already warned them, think of Titus 3:10. Okay? But getting back to this point, we got to endure hardness. Okay? And it continues to say, no man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, and he that may please him who had chosen him, that he may please him who had chosen him to be a soldier. So when you please the Lord, when you don't entangle yourself in matters of this world, man, in fleshly matters of this world, when you're always being overconsumed like a busybody. Of course, we're in this flesh. We got to take care of fleshly things like work, appointments, errands, but when we're constantly consuming in the flesh, and we don't have that desire to seek the Spirit, that's when things go bad. Okay? And it talks about not quenching the Spirit. Don't quench the Spirit. Part of being a soldier, man, is always being on point, man. Don't deprive your spirit from the nutrients that it needs, man. Okay? Don't deprive your spirit from the nutrients that it needs. Okay? Because you want to be like a lot of us in this world, man. Of course, this is how Jake's like this all the time, man. We want to bodybuild, want to get big. We want to eat a bunch of food and get those proteins and macros. But when it comes time to doing that with the Spirit, filling yourself with the Spirit, y'all ain't doing that. You could eat as much as you want, man. You could eat as much as you want. There's no limit as to how much. Of course, don't stuff yourself and, receive everything you're being taught and everything you're learning. But the point is, don't quench your spirit. You shouldn't be depriving yourself completely, man, to where you're starving your spirit, because that's not going to make you the soldier that the Lord designed you to be. All right? And going back, Psalm 144, blessed be the Lord my strength, which teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight. So the Lord, man, he's the one that gives us these weapons, man, to fight in the Spirit. Our weapons are not carnal. These family members, they use words that are carnal. They use they threatening, and even coworkers and people at jobs, they use threatening agendas to try to put us in a box. But we don't need to do any of that, man. We have the gifts that the Lord has given us, man. The tools, the weapons. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. And, going back to this Ephesians, this is what I really want to highlight. Okay, because you have to envision yourself, Akim, putting on that armor. Because when you put on that armor, you're getting into the Spirit, man. You're in that full synchronicity. Because think about a soldier. If you're envisioning yourself to be a soldier of the Lord, going out, doing the work diligently, preaching on the highways and byways, doing lessons and videos, wouldn't you want to be on point? Wouldn't you want to give your full effort? It's hard, man, always, because we're in this flesh. We got a lot going on, but we got to do the very best that we can, man. And the Lord sees our efforts. And when we put on that armor, we're getting in the Spirit. All right? We're getting in the Spirit in full attunement, man. We're sharpening the iron. All right? Let's begin. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. So you have that full armor on, man. You got the breastplate. You got the leg armor. You got the shoes. You got the weapon. You got the helmet. You're not going around with just one of these pieces and that's it. That would be foolishness. Knowing how the devil is like a roaring lion these days, wouldn't you want to go out with the full armor of protection? And for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So, like I said, the devil, he's always warring. He's always prowling. He's looking to see if you're injured. He's looking to see if you have gaps in your armor so he could hop on and vex you. And then he want to try to put you in that state where it's harder to get back on point. It'd be harder. That's why you got to always be in that spirit. Okay, wherefore take unto you the whole armor, not half, not 1/3, the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. So when these people attack you in your flesh, man, your flesh wants to say something that's, carnal. That wants to get that one up. But let these people win the carnal battles, stand with that truth, man, that gospel of peace. When they say these things, go back to these scriptures. If he chosen as a soldier, enduring hardness, them people of this world hating Yahweh Shai. Okay, and that's what we have to think every time we have these attacks. We got to think of the gospel of peace. Okay, above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench the fiery darts of the wicked. So that shield of faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. But you have that full faith, that hope that shield is going to protect you. That way nothing gets through you. You got to exert faith. That's the most important ingredient for the recipe, along with these names, man. The spirit and power of these names. Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakadash. And take on the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh. Okay, so that sword, man. That sword. Let's bring out Hebrews 4:12. Because that brings that sword. Okay, when these people come and attack you, and they try to scoff and mock, understand it for what it is and use that sword. Okay, Hebrews 4:12. For the word of Yahweh is quick, powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, joints and marrow, and is the discerner of the thoughts and intentions of the heart. So use the sword, man. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai is giving you that sword, man. Sharpen that sword. Okay? Do not go around with that dull knife, that dull sword, man. You want it to be sharp. You want it to be quick. You want to be able to draw that out. Okay? And cut people up. Because you've been meditating in the spirit. You've been meditating in the spirit and not in the flesh. Okay? And then when people come your way, you attack them with this word of truth, man. It always wins. It will always succumb against the devil. Always rise against the devil. When you use this word of truth. Let's bring out Galatians. Because I believe I have it. Galatians flesh. I want to bring this out and close out. Wrapping it up. Galatians 6:8. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. So are you sowing seeds to your flesh or your spirit? Are you taking the time to fast? Are you taking the time to clear your brain from distractions so that your spirit gets the proper nutrients that it needs, so that it's fed, so that everything is working in conjunction, that it's getting the proper minerals? You do this by reading the word, by praying, by meditating in the spirit, by crying out to the Lord and asking him to pour wisdom, finding wisdom early. But when you go into your flesh, when you do what suits you, your carnal mortal body, what suits this present temporal evil world, Babylon, what the rest of these people do, you're going to go into a pit of destruction, okay? And you're going to just sow corruption into your body. So you have to be very, very cognizant of everything that I'm saying right now, man, because this is something that we got to be more on point with. I'm speaking for myself here, okay? You got to be on point now in these last days because we're almost at the end and people are going to start bugging the fuck out, okay? Salakia for my language, but people are going to start bugging out and you got to be ready to deal with it. Plain and simple, okay? And always, like I said, go back and envision the weapons being put on you. Envision the helmet. Envision the breastplate. Envision your feet being shod in the preparation of this truth. Envision your sword and how it could cut people up, how it's alive and active, okay? Because like I said, the Lord's given us these weapons and he wants us to use them. He wants us to use them because the truth will always prevail. So, Lord willing, I pray that you found this quick message edifying and exhorting. I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace and salutation to the Lord's elect. This is the brother